from Classic's base. Classic is going to be opening up with double Adept. Has a Robo being proxied. So really going to start things off with some aggression. And SOS is very much suspicious, is roaming around the map now, searching for it. Does have an expansion and a singular gate as well. So shield battery, I think, is very much in order to try to defend. Will it be enough, though, as we already have an Immortal being chronoed out, and it really won't be too long before it makes its way across the map. These two Adepts using their shades just to try to glean as much information as they can. The block is there from SOS. Adepts here, another block is there for SOS. These Stalkers want to get Tess, run into the Immortal, running back to the safety of the shield battery now. Does look like SOS may be able to hold this off, though, as the unit count is there for SOS. Force field does go down to try to trap the Adepts in. Overcharge is popped as well. SOS has already taken out 2 of the Adepts. Make that 3. Nope, don't make that 3. The hot pickup is there from Classic, but he is coming back across the map with a Warp Prism, who is going to pick up and try to dive into the main base now. And SOS is trapped outside of his base, trying to break it down now. He's not in the position he needs to be to try to defend against this, and Classic is powering forward. The probes are all being pulled. SOS desperately trying to stay in this first game of this best-of-3 series here. If the Warp Prism, they don't get zoned down here, but all of the Stalkers have gone down here for SOS, and so many probes have gone down as well. The probe losses may continue to stack up, but it does look like SOS is going to actually stabilize here, especially now with this Immortal popping out, and SOS does hold for the time being, and really not that many probe losses actually. I do go back on what I was saying earlier, as just 5 there really could have been a lot worse, especially, but we do see Classic now sending his 1 Immortal back home. It is in full retreat, and SOS really does want to punish this move out. Trying to poke forward. The Warp Prism again is there. We'll be saving these units from Classic, but SOS is trying to dive in on that Immortal here. Not looking like a good fight for him, though. We'll get all of his units cleaned up in the counterattack process. Behind this now, Classic already transitioning to a Disruptor, but this is still all in. He's still on 1 base, is Classic. Meanwhile, SOS has 2 bases up. He has lost probes, and the workers are equal between these 2 players. The longer this game goes on, the more it is in favor of SOS, as we have another assault starting here for Classic. This time, 2 Immortals joining the fray. SOS is working on upping his own Immortal count. Actually has 2 Immortals of his own here. Classic opting for, it looks like, the frontal assault here. SOS is spreading his forces here. Let's see if it's going to be enough. 2 shield batteries. Disruption does go forward. Catches one of the Adepts and clips the Immortal there a little bit, but is enough so far to ward off Classic. He is all in with this, remember. 1 base, continuing to warp Adepts and Immortals, and rallying more Disruptors across to the other side of the map. Now has 2 Disruption Novas off the pull down. The second one does go forward, catches one of the Immortals of SOS. The other Mortal is too far out forward, and that does get taken out now. Another Disruption Nova catches a Stalker there. Slowly but surely, Classic is whittling away the forces of SOS. He's fighting outside of range of the Super Battery. Another Stalker goes down there, just 2 Immortals and a few handful of Stalkers there for SOS. Classic does look like he has the units here. The sheer momentum is on his side, and he is powering forward, trying to get rid of every single Protoss unit in his way here. And SOS has nothing left to do but tap out. Classic will take game number 1. And SOS is able to catch these 2 Adepts yet again. Will he be able to grab one before they get out? No, he will not. Has to be a little frustrating there. But 3 sentries now for SOS. And if I didn't know any better, I'd say he's gearing up for some sort of timing here. But forced to use those force fields is SOS right now to try to defend against these Adepts as they do get into the main base. And luckily no probes have gone down for SOS. But that was some energy being used up from those sentries. And again, I can't help but feel SOS is really preferring to use that energy for a push coming up very soon here. Do have Classic skirting around to the main base of SOS with this Warp Prism. Classic so far has really enjoyed using the Warp Prism for offense here. It gives his units that much more mobility. And he's just going to dive in uncontested into this main base. Already some probes are going down. The force fields do trap some of SOS's probes here, but meanwhile, SOS is just full sending it across the map. It's a Classic's natural base here, working on that pylon, and we have a pseudo base race going on here, but I like SOS's position here much more as he has more units on the front door of Classic. Some Stalkers have been warped in to defend for SOS, but the Warp Prism Micro is there for Classic as well. SOS, though, looks like he's just going to gun down this main base for Classic, and that is going to hurt a lot. Excuse me, gun down the natural base for Classic. That is going to hurt a lot, because now Classic is on one base, and SOS, meanwhile, is still on 3 bases. SOS has lost more probes, but the worker count is equal between these two players. And Classic is really just pressed to try to get a lot more damage done here with these few units. This third base is very optimistic for Classic. It will get taken out again by the Stalkers of SOS, who just march straight across the map to punish, really, this move out from Classic. Not that SOS knew it was coming, of course, but SOS very much in the driver's seat. Classic knows it. He taps out, and SOS takes game number 2. As this Oracle is going to dive in, going for the stasis trap. A little bit of a delay there. May have just been what saves SOS there. Stasis, though, only going to grab actually a good, decent handful of probes there. As it will get out. The pull away was there from SOS, but it's not enough to save all of the probes. As the Phoenix or SOS is also out on the map. Second Oracle now joining the fray, and they are just going to dive in and start going for probe kills. 5, 6 kills now. Phoenix does pop out finally. Recall is there. Can he target fire the Oracle at the end? Does get it there at the end. Slight victory there for SOS. Does have a couple of Phoenixes out on the map already. They're going to give him some vision, some scouting here, and some additional chances for harassment. And they're just going to take a look here around the main base of SOS, try to pick up a probe or two before getting shooed away by the Stalkers. Now SOS going for triple gateways hidden in this proxy location. A really odd location, and interesting choice to hide his gateway count here. And he will be breaking himself out of this wall he's created for himself. So SOS is going to go up to 5 gateways. And meanwhile, Classic moving out with his Stalkers across the map. Both of these players working on Blink. And both of these players almost running into each other in the middle of the map there. Apologize for that slight delay there. They do end up missing each other as SOS is going for this gold base. Looks like he will have to cancel it or try to come back home to defend. But defense is the last thing on SOS's mind, as again, he is just full sending it forward to the natural base of Classic here. And what looks like could be a repeat of game number 2, as Classic is just out of position to try to defend. Force field does block off the way there for SOS, buying some time. Meanwhile, Classic has blinked into the natural base of SOS, who's starting to rack up the probe kills. Warp in from SOS is going to save some time there, and another warp in for Classic as well on the other side of the map, but the unit count is not there for Classic in his natural base as probes are being forced to fight. Chrono Immortal is on the way here, but SOS is doing so much damage here in the natural base. Trying to work on that pylon. If it gets depowered, it does get depowered. The Immortal now will not be able to come out, forcing a defensive recall there for Classic. Stalkers versus Stalkers. Zealots are joining the fray as well. And again, probes still on the front line. So many have gone down. The 2 Phoenixes are still there for SOS. He does back up, but it looks like will not be long before he tries to dive in again for wave 2 here. Classic is really on the back foot, back against the wall here, trying to stay desperately in this third match. Another blink forward there for SOS. Immortal does finally pop out, and these Stalkers now are literally caught in a corner for SOS. They do blink over to the other side. Probe still on the front lines there. It is chaos mayhem for both of these players, but the fight is happening in Classic's natural base, and that is really what is hurting him here as the probe count continues to dwindle. Blinking out is SOS, and he is being stubbornly refusing to exit. Now with another Immortal, he may just be forced to exit here, but the units continue to stream across the map here for SOS. That forward position he developed with the 3 gateways really helping this aggression out. Finally, we'll be backing off, giving Classic the breather that he, and that third gold base being reestablished for SOS. He does have some catching up to do in the income department, as Classic has been enjoying a 3 base economy for the better part of the previous 5 minutes, it looks like. Again, despite the tremendous amount of damage that SOS did, Classic is now the one that is ahead in workers, and it is SOS who is on a timer. He's going to blink into this third base, try to grab some more probe kills. Classic Stalkers blink forward to try to catch him here. And only 2 probes is the count there, as SOS is gearing up for another attack, it looks like. The Classic is all over it. He has vision with this observer, so we'll get advanced warning of this move out from SOS. And it is just going to be down to this final fight, it looks like, as SOS is going for the full surround here. Overcharge is popped. Zealots versus Zealots. Immortals on the front lines do get picked up and transferred back to the back line by Classic now. We do have Archons in the front as well. More Archons for Classic. Is it going to be enough? Huge stasis catches some of those Zealots for Classic. They will be out of the fight for the time being. Stalkers blink forward and catch the Warp Prism there. But once that stasis runs out, these Zealots will be back online for Classic, and they will be able to join the fight as the unit count does diminish here for SOS. Is it going to be enough to win this third and final match in this best of 3 series? It does look like Classic is going to be able to hold on here, as almost every single Protoss unit does get cleaned up. SOS again forced to retreat here. Only 3 probes in total being taken out there for Classic. And the army getting reset a little bit, but Classic is on 4 bases. He's going to be able to recuperate his losses a lot easier than SOS can. SOS still utilizing this forward operating base with the gateways very much, but now running into the army here of Classic. Classic finally now knows the launching point for the previous aggression here. Archons are going to clear up all of the Zealots from Classic, but with that, SOS just taps out as he sees that Classic has too much for him, and Classic will advance forward. Please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's cast of StarCraft 2 Fight Night. I've been your host, Stasis, and I greatly appreciate you watching. Please also do check out the Patreon for the Korean StarCraft League. Your support directly contributes to the league and to the players that play in that league. So if you want to see more amazing StarCraft 2 content, please check out their Patreon, and I will see you next time on StarCraft 2 Fight Night.